Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a regretful, regretful, regret, regretful, sad um, farewell show. The finale. There you go. The season finale. Chat knows where I'm going with this immediately. It's been a hell of a ride here for this last 2 weeks, but I think after a lot of reflection, you and I have both reached the conclusion that the end is nigh, and we may as well go out on this Fleet 50 grin, right, brother? Shoot, I want to I mean, we're doing this show together, but I don't want to, kind of frame you as an equal in this crime. It seems unfair. So, do you mind if I just take the lead here, pal, for this first segment?
I mean, I didn't plan on contributing much today anyway, so that's cool.
Okay. Um, last night was quite the scene. Uh, at one point, I warned the Oracle of Wrestling that he should not fight with the chat, and I believe it was approximately 6 minutes later that I began to scream, and I at one point demanded that no one take the mic, like I was on the Romford Market. I think, look, we all make mistakes, right? And sometimes it can get a little bit heated here in the hot seat hosting a show. However, I do want to stress that I do stand by almost everything I said last night, other than the fact that upon rewatch, I actually thought Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy was quite good. Other than that small detail, I think most of what I said stands, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, I'm not sure that 3 a.m. reviews are the way moving forward. Maybe I should just let it sit for a sleep. A little bit cranky. It's a long night, but nonetheless, I do apologise to anyone that I greatly offended with my ongoing celebration of Roderick Strong. However, as I hold myself accountable, I would also like to hold the chat accountable. Please do not take shortcuts in a wrestling debate of this caliber and lash out at a young Roderick Strong. That simply will bring out the worst in me. You've seen it shoot personally, right? You've seen me
Yeah,
do
it's,
some
it's not
terrible,
pretty.
and I think we can both learn from this. You and I, that is the chat, not you. Shoot, again, you're not to blame here. Though I did appreciate you calming me down as I stormed the streets last night after the program. Um, yeah, we'll be better, folks. We're gonna get better because of this. Thank you very much. Shoot, any comments?
Yeah, we definitely won't get any better. The 3 a.m. reviews are the way to go because the best content is when we're very angry. I don't get angry, of course, because I'm an adult and this is pro wrestling, as Robert O'Neill tweeted a few days ago. Um, he does 15 hours of content a week about something he doesn't care about. Um, Speaking of which, it's the
Yeah,
Fleet 50.
it sure is, and we have a lot to talk about. I would just like to say that this has been an incredible process. I've learned a lot about our audience, and I think less of all of you. The Fleet 50 is a loving tribute to my friend, the Confirmed Shoots, famous New York 50 project that began in 2018, right?
And lasted for 1 year.
Yeah, last 1 year and has now had like 8 owners since then. It's only been 4 years, which you get what you get, I suppose. Um, the 50 best in-ring performers of AEW's year. If they work to match in AEW, they're eligible. They should be ranked based on their work in that promotion. Now, as I learn, many of you would take a rather loose approach to those rules. Some would actively ignore the rules. Layers. Uh,
There was no way I wasn't going to put that. That's like the nicest thing
now,
anyone's ever said to me on here.
J Blood says it, and I do want to say that it did pop me the amount of people that reached out to me to inform me that they were not going to send in a ballot
Yeah,
out of fear for the process.
yeah.
Which fair.
Um,
I understand that. Shoot, talk a little about the backstory here, because you're the origin of this whole
I
thing.
really don't remember very much. I
Fair.
just actually no wait, I do remember. Okay, there was a Twitter poll for the top 100 wrestlers um, in the world, basically. Um, and at the time, I was kind of stupid and was a big fan of the World Wrestling Federation, so I decided to make a poll specifically just for WWF wrestlers, um, which became known as the New York 50. Um, and the way this works, I assume Joe did it the same way. We actually didn't talk about this at all, which is hilarious. But basically, it's a poll of 50. If you got the number 1 spot, you got 50 points. Number 2, you got 49 points. So on, down the line to 1 point. I know Joe was very overwhelmed by the amount of ballots we received. For legal reasons, we can't actually say exactly how many was, but I could say it was between 49 and 10,000.
Well, I've actively promoted how many it is. That is
I know,
incredible.
that's the best part.
However, you're right about the overwhelm. I mean, it's a lot of numbers, right? The spreadsheet began to seem rather daunting. I'm sure you got more entries. I'm sure in 2018, though, right?
It's like 110, I think.
Different time, right? The
Yeah.
business was up. I don't know. Maybe they still do that many at New York 50. I don't know. But with that said, with the the table set, let's get into this, bro. Should we do a countdown before the honorable mentions, or should we do honorable mentions, then a countdown, then the 50? Or both?
Honorable mention, then countdown, then the 50.
Okay. Very restrained of you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Or we could do a countdown, honorable mention, countdown, 50.
Let's do the honorable mentions. So I think we should start with the main event, actually, because before we get there, I have a different segment. I'm changing up the format after I planned it live on the air. Because I have some just interesting stat nuggets, and then we'll do a countdown, then the honorable mentions, then a countdown, okay?
Okay.
Let's start with the main event, the machine gun, Carl Anderson. Would you like to have a guess at where Machine Gun came in here with? Now, reminder: 123 wrestlers were listed.
123 got votes.
Yep.
99.
108th was the Machine Gun's final standing. I believe he appeared in 2 ballots. I tried with all my might to get him in mine. Couldn't quite get over the line, unfortunately. I know that will disappoint some, and if you want to leave or quit our Patreon, we understand. If ever there was a reason, that would be it, right? But
DM Bob for a refund of $1.
he texted me today, owned. Just cold. Owned.
No
He's
explanation whatsoever?
No, he's a piece of shit. Gallows did not receive 1 vote. He did not. Machine Gun did not rank higher than Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh, okay. I got to rein it in. I'm going to try to be careful.
JD Drake appeared on just 1 ballot. However, he came in 12th on that ballot.
I have no choice but to respect that.
That's fucking awesome. The same goes for Maki Ito, who came in 3rd on a ballot. 3rd, folks. God bless. Goes without saying, this felt like a lock anyway, but multiple wrestlers appeared on ballots that did not wrestle 1 single match in AEW this year. That includes Robert O'Neill, who got a vote.
Fair. How high? How high was he voted? 50th or?
No, like just somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
There was some others, and I respect it, right? Kayla Rossi, a pal of mine, had it 50. Sure. So that I think gives you a good idea here as we set the stage for the actual 50 or the honorable mentions first of the kind of results that we got. Okay. Now I'm not going to do a countdown. I'm going to do honorable mentions, then we'll do the countdown. Let's go. And these are not going to be as detailed, but I'm going to just list off the 5 that missed out on the top 50. Okay, we'll go one by one. Here we go. So 55th was Chucky T.
Wow.
Surprised he didn't make it?
I think I voted for him. I got to pull my own ballot up because
I know that he was right on the
heavily researched ballot that I did.
Yeah, factual. He was on the bubble, I think, for me. He was very close. I think it's pretty fair that he just was outside,
I had him 45th, so I think that's fair.
There you go. 54th, Jade Cargill. In-ring probably just wasn't there for 2021, right?
She was not on my ballot. She's very high on my current 2022 ballot, though.
Yes, she's especially after the Julia Hart match that's coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah, she'll probably be top 3.
Nyla Rose. Is that a case of just not enough opportunity on TV?
I had her 35th, so
there you go. Yeah, I wish she had actually like a better year. The Britt Baker match was probably more harmful than good, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, probably.
52, Stu Grayson. The Dark Order guys, I can tell you folks now, I had Evil Uno in my top 50. He was like 65th. I think they suffer from how many, Like, I think that's a real thing. I think the quantity of the group makes it hard for people to single out voters.
Glancing quickly, I'm pretty sure Angels is the only one I had in my 50.
It's difficult, right? And finally, here in the honourable mentions, missing out by just 4 points, Jamie Hayter was 51. Jamie is someone that I think I'm pretty confident is going to be on the list this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
got there late, didn't have the best of starts, but we saw it by the end of the year, right, Shoot?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's address this real quick.
Oh, no.
God. This is not happening because I decided I didn't feel like doing it. And that's the entire explanation.
We do have some of those stats, though.
Okay.
So now we're in the 50. We're going to get into that, but first, you already know. It's time, folks. The moment you've been waiting for, the season finale of the Late Night Grin.
Can I interrupt this just to build the tension even more?
That'd be very fitting, yes.
So I'm looking at my ballot here that I did at 1 a.m. in Tennessee on my vacation.
Factual.
And I kind of hate it. I think I disagree with about half of it.
It's fine. I did mine very quick too. It is what it is. Okay. In at 50, one of our all-time favorite wrestlers, the natural Dustin Rhodes. A couple stats for you here, Shoot. Dustin was unranked on 27 ballots. His lowest position on those that did list him was at 48 twice. His highest position, Shoot, and I can confirm this wasn't you, at 14 he came in on one ballot here. Dustin feels like a fitting opener here, right? Nice sentimental choice.
Yeah, we all love the man. He's the one I forgot to vote for, isn't he? Because he's not on my ballot.
No, oh no, it's much more controversial than that, brother.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, I think Dustin just missed out for me too.
Nice to see him. Wasn't in your 50 either.
There was so few matches to kind of point to, It's a shame, but I think we're both happy to see him, right?
Yeah, he is actually a perfect fit for 50. That kind of rules.
It amazed me that, like, when I was looking at this, and I think this gives you folks some perspective on how weird these work out. Like, the idea that he made the cut while missing over half of the ballots feels so strange, right? But you get what you get, I suppose. And again, as I said, someone had him at 14. So that, as we'll find out later, wild swings can prove very important in that system that we referenced. So, okay. We've got a couple relative newcomers here coming up next. We start 49, Lee Moriarty, unranked on 32 ballots. In terms of the ballots he was on, there was the lowest of 47th. However, Shoot, his highest position here in the Fleet 50, he came in at 7th on one ballot, with his second highest spot being 22nd. As I said, wild swings in ranking can do some amazing things for someone's position. 49th for Lee. Where are you at on this one?
He wasn't in my top 50. I love Lee Moriarty.
Yeah,
I think this should be the last time he's not in the top 50 for quite a long time, but there just wasn't, he didn't do a whole lot in AEW.
Yeah.
I feel like the vote, I mean, look, I feel like if you voted for Lee Moriarty 7, you're considering his other work as well.
Which, I mean, fine, right? At least sent a ballot in. At least he wasn't a coward, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough about Bob. Okay. I do agree with you, though. Lee Moriarty is going to be a constant on these moving forward. Speaking of interesting selections, at 48, we have Hook, who I believe had 2 matches in 2021. Was not listed on 25 of the ballots. Came in at 50 4 times. Shoot. Do you want to guess?
I mean, I respect people popping themselves, but yeah.
you want to guess Hook's highest position on any
1.
ballot in the Hook got a top vote in the Fleet 50. His second highest was 20th. So we had a pretty high man there. Is this, in fear of repeating ourselves, is this the same case of we're confident we're going to see him in this a lot, but maybe he shouldn't have been
You would think,
2021?
yeah.
I think he was a fine. Look, I think 4 people had him at 50 for a reason. I think there was something to be said for that, right? As a little nod to those incredible squash matches. But my God, pal.
I mean, I had Angelico 50, so I can't.
Right. You get what you get, I suppose. In at 47, we have a man that's been trusted tomorrow night to wrestle John Moxley. Someone who's really impressed us in his singles opportunities, Anthony Bowens. I didn't have him, and I kind of, when I looked at it, thought that was unfair. 20 others didn't have him. He appeared at 50th once. His highest spot was 19th. He was a guy that was a pretty constant in that like 35 to 50 kind of range. And I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, I didn't have him in my 50, but I don't have any issue with that. He's good.
That spell he had when Castle was out was kind of eye-opening for us. I remember we were doing Fleet Week at the time, and we was both. There were some moments there for sure as a singles where he was like, okay, I see something, and they saw it too. I mean, he's worked Derby, he's going to work Mox tomorrow night. There was another one that I give him too, like a pretty big singles match. So
he's got a high ceiling.
Absolutely, he's going to be interesting to watch in terms of because they clearly like the team, but the way they book them makes it clear they also realize he's the kind of workhorse, right? So.
Right.
That'll be something to watch. I think he's also someone that, in fear of getting ahead of ourselves, we can pencil in as like he probably will be pretty consistently on these things, I would imagine.
You would think, yeah.
Speaking of such, in at 46, Powerhouse Hobbs of Team Taz wasn't on 18 ballots, which I think is really telling as to kind of the weird year he had in terms of exposure, right? Like a lot of pre-tapes, a lot of cool visuals, but the matches, it was slim. He came in at 49th as his lowest actual rank. 23rd was his highest. So there was not a sort of huge high man on Hobbs. I just think we all like him so much that we kind of made a point of trying to get him on there, right? Did you have him on there, Shoot?
Yeah, I had him right kind of in the middle of that range.
Yeah.
I had him at 33, which may actually be a little high, but I mean, when he got opportunities, he was very good, I thought. So.
Oh, yeah. I think we all love the guy, right? I think he's one of those guys that when you look at the roster, you kind of go, I feel like he needs to be on it. So there you go.
I mean, that look he had on Wednesday night, he should be number 1, honestly.
God, it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay. Speaking of folks that have proven polarizing in AEW, kind of surprisingly so. 45th, Ruby Soho. I did not have Ruby. 20 others did not have Ruby. She came in at 50th once. Her highest spot was 21st. Had a weird time of it in ring, right? She's had an interesting kind of. It's been a little bit challenging, I think, for her in some ways. Where have you been at on Ruby and AEW? Because I know we're both fans, but where have you been at on her just inside the ropes?
I think she's been fine.
Right.
I think she hasn't been as good as some people act like she is, and she hasn't been as bad as some people act like she is. And yeah, again, I had her right kind of in the middle of that range you just went through. She was in the mid-30s for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it'll be fun to see where they kind of end up with her, right? Because I think she's lost 2 title matches now. You don't see a belt immediately in her future, but she's damn over, right? Like she's one of the most popular women, so it'll be interesting to see how they figure that out. She is in at 45. We do not have a 44 Shoot because we have a tie at 43. 2 men that shared a classic Dynamite main event. We will start with Wardlow, unranked 17 times, came in at 50th once, and at a high mark of 12th. It was not Jack Crosby. He's a coward and didn't send in a ballot. He was tied with Chris Jericho, who I was one of the high men on, actually, hilariously enough. But I was not 11th high, which was his top spot. I was had him somewhere in the 20s, which you'd be surprised. I was not many was around me in that regard. 11th was his highest spot. He came in at 53 times, and he was missing on 19 ballots. Man, that's something. Thoughts on, let's start with Wardlow. Is this a case of, as much as we all like him, it was hard to go too high just because his matches are a certain way, right? It's difficult.
Yeah, I actually had him at 49, and that was very much an I'm not going to do a ballot without Wardlow on it.
Fair.
And Jericho, I had, I think, at 40.
So I want to lock in on this Jericho thing a little because we all get it, right? There's a lot of baggage with Chris. I kind of thought he was like fun in ring.
A lot of the
And
time, yeah.
Like I was looking at his year, and I get there's flaws with it, okay? But I like the match him and MJF had with the Bucks. The Stadium Stampede was fun, and like the Labors of Jericho for all their like the Nick Gage match was a spectacle, man. That was a scene. I like the MJF pay per view match. I even pretty much I like the TV TV main event. I don't know. I think Jericho's become something that's almost like impossible to talk about now, and like because we all have our like gut feeling on him, and it's so hard to overcome that, right?
Yeah. I think he's fine in the ring. I think he's gotten a little bit better at knowing what he can and can't do anymore,
Right.
which was definitely an issue in 2020. I think he's gotten a little bit better at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's still okay as a wrestler. I mean, I'm not as low on Jericho as a lot of people as a television performer.
Yeah.
To be clear.
Fair. In at 42, another one that I have to be honest, folks, didn't make my ballot, and I was kind of sad about it. Ricky Starks. Me and 16 others did not have him on, and I love Ricky. He was on the distraction. Amazing pro wrestling talent. But I looked at his year and I was like, well, there's not too much here, unfortunately. He came in at
he's not on
50th.
mine either.
There you go. He came in at 50th twice. He had a highest rank of 19th. I think we all love Ricky, so I get why he's here. There wasn't an awful lot to look at in 2021 in terms of in-ring, right? Like,
right.
And I mean, in terms of ceiling, I don't know where you're at on this. We talked about on Discord the other day. Like, in terms of ceiling, I genuinely think he has a higher ceiling than, I don't want to say all the pillars, but maybe all the pillars. Like,
pretty close, yeah.
Dude's money, but it's just, he got hurt. And like, even before that, he was kind of not used in a really consistent in-ring sense. It's just hard. Like, he had a nice match with Hangman, I want to say, on TV, the one he got hurt in, right?
Yeah.
And also, the other thing, too, is, I don't know where you're at on this. I can't remember because it was a different time. But like, I think some people liked the cinematic match more than I did. Maybe. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that was the first show that I went to the cinema for, and we lost the signal for a decent chunk of that match. So I've actually not seen that match in full.
I don't know if you'd like it.
The stuff I saw popped me, but yeah. And I look again, Ricky Starks, his ceiling is AEW champion.
Absolutely is. Is he one we circle as he should win the TNT title this year?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Feels like a great fit for him, doesn't it?
Yep.
I do wonder sometimes if the FTW thing is more harmful than useful. It's like a weird crutch for them. Like the idea of doing him and Jay Lethal for that belt, it's like, I mean, sure.
Ricky beating Sammy Guevara would be interesting.
Yes. That match should be pretty good.
They've got history too outside of.
They do.
I'm sure you could do something with that. So.
Indeed. Okay. 41. Scorpio Sky. Speaking of potential future TNT champs, he was missing from 12 ballots. He came in at 50th on one. His highest position was 15th. I think I had Scorp in like the 35 to 40 range around there, him and Ethan both. Scorpio, we've talked about it, right? Like very few singles matches on TV, but I think he's one of those guys that whenever he's out there, whether it's a 2-minute squash or a 10-man tag, that dude's just perfect in ring. He don't let you down in that regard. So it felt like he belonged on here. 41's probably fair, right?
That's where I had him.
There you go. My God.
Yeah, it's the first time that's happened.
Bootlicker. I'm sorry, but I nearly went with the other bit we did, and I thought that would be very unprofessional.
Yeah, that was what I was going to respond with, and then
yeah, good. All right, well, don't do that. Okay, it's time for the top 40. We have at 40. Here we go. Shoot, man who is next challenging for the AEW World Heavyweight Title: Lance Archer, missing from 20 ballots. I feel like poor Lance was a case of out of sight, out of mind here when some of these were sent in, because that just happens, right? It is what it is. He came in at 49th on one of these, and his highest was 18th. I think Lance was a guy at this range is pretty fair too. He's always, when you actually like feature him, he very seldom lets you down, right? But I think he's someone that people don't realize how old Lance is. God bless him. Like, he's not really a project long term. And I think it's fair to say, with all of the moving pieces, he's someone that probably took a step back, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
He is the break in case of emergency guy on the roster.
Yes.
You keep him protected, and then when it's time to do something, he's the one you do it with. I think he's a case also of most of his high profile stuff was earlier in the year, which always will hurt you and stuff like this. If you had I'm not speaking for everyone, obviously, but I think for most people, if you had a wrestler who had a great January to July and then they were gone, and you had a wrestler who had a great August to December, but they weren't there the guy with the August to December is going to be rated higher.
Especially this year in AEW, right? Like, this is a very unique year, and I'm actually glad you bring this up, because this is a factor worth discussing while Jack Crosby hurls abusive messages our way.
Good Lord, man. That's inappropriate.
Yes, he's terrible. This was a unique year for AEW, and there's definitely people that voted that mostly watched the last few months of the year because of the stuff that happened. Like, you can look at those ratings where you want, but there is 100% an audience that paid more attention to AEW post the first dance.
Right.
Like, I'm telling you, I can see it even in our nerdy bubble. That's a thing, So I noticed that, and I think Archer was a victim of that. And you get what you get, I suppose. Okay, in at 39, Ortiz of Proud, or the team formerly known as Proud and Powerful, formerly known as LAX, now just called Santana and Ortiz. Missing from 17 ballots, came in at 48 on one of them. Highest shoot of 12.
Wow.
And that wasn't even me, I promise. I think we don't have to, be a dead horse for this one. They're one of the big topics of the year, right? Let's get Santana and Ortiz rolling. I think the promotion knows that, and hopefully they can come in higher, or Ortiz can come in higher next time around, right?
Yep. I didn't have them in my ballot. And that's not their fault.
One of the things that put me over the top for like putting them in, because I had them around this range, I thought they were so great in Blood and Guts. And I just wanted, and even Stampede, like, I thought they had the matches with FTR. It was slim. I wish it could have been more, but it's difficult. Okay. Here's one I was one of the high men on. Matt Sydal in at 38. Missing from 19 ballots. Came in at 50th on one. His highest spot was 20th. I think I had him at 23. I think this is a case of if you do or don't watch the C shows. That's my genuine take. He's so watchable on those shows, man. He had that match with Serpentico in like a dark main event. He worked way harder than you expect. I thought he had a great year. I think his biggest problem is like he's very much got to that point, and it's not anyone's fault. It just happens. Like, no one buys him as a guy that's going to win these matches when he works TV.
Right.
But his work is immaculate, right? Where are you at on Sydal? Shoot.
I had him at 31. He's perpetually, I don't want to say underrated, because I think people know how good he is, but I think he's underappreciated. I think he's someone that he's just so steady that you can forget about him really easily.
Yeah. The match with Punk was a real highlight. I actually think, to build on what you said there, that one doesn't get listed enough when people talk about Punk's comeback. That was a great match they had. And it was a special night on Rampage. So, so that was a great year. He will make the most of every opportunity you give him. What they do with him this year will be interesting, because I think the Ricky match was a clear sign that, like, the kind of general audience, the folks that sit in the stands, kind of sees him as a guy that's going to lose those matches every time, right? And I'd like to see, maybe they can do something, him and Lee as a tag, give him a little bit of juice. I think that'd be fun. I know they've got a lot of teams, so it's hard, but I think both of us see a lot in that as an option. So hopefully they can play around with that some. Speaking of such, a guy you hate in at 37, All Ego Ethan Page. Missing from just 11 ballots, which I'm pretty sure is the least thus far. Came in at 50th once, came in at 16th. as his highest. I think I had Ethan again in this range with Scorpio. His obvious highlight is the coffin match with Darby, which was a real moment in time when Dynamite, and I'm not doing it used to be better, but you and I talked about it a lot. Like that first month
Yeah.
when they hit the arenas, that was one where I remember coming out of that show being like, man, this is a time right now. They're swinging for the fences. And that doesn't mean it's, I'm not saying it as a criticism today. I'm just saying that was a special moment. That's his highlight. But I think he's been good at every, reasonable opportunity he's got. Where did you have Ethan shoot?
39.
There you go.
So
that's about right.
Maybe you can drop the hater act now. Hater.
Hey, man, it's been a tough time, okay? Gotta let me lash out every once in a while.
I think you did enough of that last night.
Sorry to hear that. I'll read the next one. I see we have some powers that have just got here. And then I'll do a reset and read out the 15 so far, okay? 36th, we talked about his tag partner, Santana. He was missing from 14 ballots, coming at 50th once. He had the high mark of 13, one spot behind Ortiz on that particular ballot. God bless, I respect it. Love Santana. I think he has so much to offer, and I think he may just have a really interesting year. Shoot.
Yeah. He's going to do some single stuff, isn't he? Isn't he on Terminus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think he may be a topic of conversation this year.
Are you like hinting at scoops here, or
not a scoop? I just I follow him on Twitter.
Fair.
I love that. So that's a good running bit of ours, right? The Santana. Yeah. Oh no. Did you see on one of the vlogs he was just sitting in the stands on his own brooding?
No, I didn't. That's
he was so miserable working for the All Elite fleet. He's going to be the Ring of Honor champ by like September, and I'm going to be fucking unbearable. Anyway, here's the 15 so far. That was not a scoop. I don't work for Fightful anymore. I get no scoops. Okay, that wasn't even like a shot. Did I make it clear? It wasn't.
Oh Lord, he's gross.
Oh no, I nearly got my internet struck down by the wrestling media mafia. Dustin Rhodes in at 50, Lee Moriarty at 49, 48 was Hook, 47 Anthony Bowens, 46 Powerhouse Hobbs, 45 Ruby Soho, tied at 43 was Wardlow and Chris Jericho, Ricky Starks at 42, Scorpio Sky at 41, Archer 40, Ortiz 39, 38 Matt Sydal, 37 Ethan Page, 36 future Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Santana.
That may stick.
Oh, come on. 35. Ty Conti. Missing from 9 ballots, which was, that's a pretty good showing for this deep in here. Was ranked 49th. Was also ranked 17th. I want to clear my friend's name immediately. That was not the confirmed shoot. He did not do that.
No, I had her at 22.
There you go. Ty Conti is a huge year for her. She won Most Improved, right? So, anything on Ty Conti, shoot.
She's great. She'll be higher next year. If she's not, it's Tony Khan's fault.
Her and Jade battling out for the top 3 slot.
Yeah. Has she wrestled yet this year?
I don't know. Well, no comment. Okay. Britt got Most Improved. I don't know. Who cares? 34. 34. Riho.
Yeah, that last chat comment's accurate, but I'm not going to put that on the screen.
Wait, what? What happened?
It won't be Tony's fault.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah. 34. Riho. It always amazes me just how polarizing Riho is, because I just think she's like such a home run wrestler. You're like, she's so fun. She was missing from 18 ballots, man. That's a lot. I mean, I get she was inactive. That is a lot. To me, the Deeb match alone was enough to get her in there somewhere, right? Either way, as terms of the ballot she appeared on, her lowest was 48th. Her highest, though, shoot, 7th. Wow. Much respect. That was not me, I promise. Riho, I think she proved her worth in that Britt Baker program. I think she should be featured pretty regularly here this year, right?
Yeah, she's great. I had her at 34.
There you go. That's incredible.
That's 2 now.
Did you rig this?
Yes.
Bootlicker. Don't do it. 33. John Silver. We talked earlier about the Dark Order trying to kind of been a difficult one on here because they blend together, I think, for a lot of the audience. Silver is the outlier in that regard, right? I think everyone pretty comfortably has him stand alone. He only missed from 8 ballots. In terms of the ones he appeared on, his lowest was 48. His highest was 20, so that gives you perspective. He was just pretty comfortably in that 20 to 40 range on a lot of ballots. He had a good year.
I said earlier that Angels was the only Dark Order person
Yeah.
on my ballot, and I'm totally wrong because Silver was at 29.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a useful guy, right, for that roster. I mean, he can very feasibly main event TV in a singles match, in a tag match. People love him, and his performance, he's not a the crowd loves him, he works hard, bless his heart, right? Like, he's fucking good, too.
Good, yeah.
He's really good. Also, Bob O'Neill's favorite AEW wrestler. Not that helped him here because Bob didn't send in a ballot. Oh my God, shoot. Bob, speak his name and he will appear. Okay, I thought he was watching John Gargano on Twitch or some shit. Anyway.
He's probably watching both. It's Bob.
32. Chris Statlander. Missing from 11 ballots. Came in at 47th twice. Highest spot, 7th. I think we were the highest people in the world on her pay-per-view match with Britt Baker, but I love that thing.
Yeah.
It's the best Britt match in some time, I thought. Even over the Riho, I just thought it was so exciting. Not only did she have a good year, she improved an awful lot.
Yeah,
2022 should be a big one for her, shoot.
It's funny because she's another one I was about to say she should be higher next year, but everyone can't be higher next year, so it'll be. But yeah, I had her at 28. She's very good.
Okay, the next one may be lower next year. In at 31, it's Stang. He was missing from 10 ballots. He came in at 49th on one ballot. He came in at 5th on another ballot. I think Sting has been one of the great stories of the year. Honestly, lest we forget how scared we were for him when he took the power bomb. And then 6 months later, he was at Arthur Ashe, taking the heat against FTR, getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yep, he's a fucking man.
He's the greatest, right? I think I get why people left him off because he had so few matches, but God, he ruled this year, last year, right?
I think my first run through, he was in my top 10, and I decided I couldn't go that far, so I bumped him down to 15.
Yeah. There you go.
Joe didn't even have him ranked.
Bullshit. He was in the 20s for me. There you go. AC has stepped forward. He says, I had him at 5. I think we can all respect that, right?
Yeah.
It's Stang. Or Mr. Sting. As Andrade says. Now, at 30, another man that confirmed shoot hates Daniel Garcia. Dude, how impressive, in all seriousness, bits aside, how impressive is this? When did he come into the promotion? August?
That sounds about right.
He was only missing from 7 ballots.
I was one of those 7.
Wow, you actually do hate him, that rule.
Probably a mistake, but...
In terms of the ballot, here we go, this is going to put you. In terms of the ballots he was on, his lowest slot was at 49. His highest, number 1. Indeed, there was a ballot that featured Daniel Garcia at number 1. His second highest was 15th, twice. That's quite the range. Probably a little bit far for me, but he was damn good, right? And his polish as an in-ring performer is striking. I think we all get there's some limitations there, and he's going to have some stuff to figure out. There you go. Andrew, step forward. Garcia at 1.
Yeah, I probably should have ranked him. Oh, well.
Hey, you do an apology like I did at the start of the show?
Nope. Never apologize. Never back down.
Fair.
That's terrible advice, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, well, this one was interesting. This was a fascinating element of this whole process, I thought. Christian Cage. Now, I had Christian in the 10 to 15 range.
So did I.
He is here at 29. His highest rank was 9th. He appeared 3 times at 46 and 5 times was not on any ballot at all. And I have to say, it's very much subjective. But I do feel he may have been a case of people that only watched the last stretch of the year.
Yeah.
Because when he first came in, it felt like he could have had a good match with it. Do you remember the match he had with Frankie Kazarian?
Yeah, it was awesome.
I have to say, and here's the other thing for me too. That Rampage match with Omega is one of my favorite AEW matches ever.
100%.
So I thought he deserves some love. He's in at 29, which may be fair. Any thoughts on? I know one of our favorites, Christian Cage, right?
He's one of the ones where, and again, this is not a science. For me,
Well,
it's not how I approach it. Maybe it's how some people approach it.
yeah.
He certainly didn't have the quantity, but I thought his matches, like the quality was so good that I couldn't put him much lower than where I did.
Yeah.
But I can also fully understand the argument if you think that's too high.
Playing both sides like Bob.
He had like 3 matches that were like probably in the top 15 of the year.
Yeah,
That
he's
made
pretty
me
good.
feel- yeah.
I really hope that when it happens, the turn that we've been talking about since August, I really hope we get like consistent matches because I think there's some really fun babyface matchups. Like that gets me pretty fired up. I don't know how many years Christian has left in his own mind, but God, he's still great. So hopefully they maximize that here and he doesn't just stand ringside and watch the dinosaur. Okay, here's one where I may have been a little bit controversial. 28, Malachi Black. He was missing from 6 ballots. I did not leave him off. However, I did have him at 48th. So did someone else. He had a highest position of 5th.
Wow.
I was consistently surprised by how many people had Malachi Black high because in ring, I did not see a whole lot of substance in 2021. Am I being unfair? Confirm, shoot.
He's not on my ballot, so
Owned. Absolutely owned. Thanks, shoot.
and I like him a lot. So
You do, yeah. I just, in turn, I don't think, and this is important to know, that doesn't mean the run's been a failure because I don't think he's trying to achieve like match quality in a lot of those matches, right?
Not
like,
yet, anyway. Yeah.
No, the Cody squash was awesome, but it's not the sort of thing that you look at in this process and kind of, I don't know.
I mean, it can be if that's what you're into, and
yeah, you want to just cheat. I lashed out again, didn't I?
that's all right. Remember how mad you got at me last night because I liked that Malachi Black and Brody King promo?
Yeah. Called you a piece of shit.
Yeah, really inappropriate. Unappropriate. I made that up.
27. Dante Martin, missing from 5 ballots, came in at 43rd on one, came in at 12th on another. Very consistent in that 20 to 40 range. Had a huge year, man. Like a very important year for him. And, time will tell in terms of how high he can get in the immediate future. I think we all agree that the Darius Martin's return will probably be a factor in that, right? Because we assume he'll be back to the tag ranks. But as a singles, he announced himself as a major prospect in the wrestling world. So is this a fair spot for him, do you think?
Yeah, I had him 23. He's one, and again, this is like, it's hard not to, I don't want to say prisoner of the moment because that's not quite what I mean. But like if I did this poll again today, I probably would rank him a little bit lower than I did when I did this a few weeks ago. And that's probably not fair, but that was one of my initial reactions as well. I had Dante Martin at 23, and that's not really fair because he had some incredible stuff.
And the C shows
a lot in the last.
Yeah, of course, right. That angles. I think that feud has kind of hurt all involved, unfortunately.
Yep.
He was a fabulous C show guy, and especially in the summer, it felt like every week you could rely on him. He had that hilarious match with King where it was clearly too late and everyone was tired, and they had like a 2-minute match.
Oh yeah,
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You text me like, "Oh, this is something." You need to watch this one. Yeah, he had a big year. Okay. 26, this will be the halfway mark, and then we'll play the countdown, let everyone refresh. 26, Andrade or Idolo. He was missing from just 3 ballots. He came in at 50th on one, 10th on another. A guy that, as much as we all, I think, can agree he could and probably should do more. Brother, I mean, when the dude's inside the ropes and the bell rings, he's golden, right? Like he makes it worth your time. So Where did you have him at? Do you think this is fair? Where are you at on this one?
He's a little. I had him at 32, but I don't have any issue with this. I would kind of put him in the same way I described Christian, but I think Christian's was his quality was a little bit higher. But Andrade had a couple matches that were just
those pack matches.
Yeah. I was at the first one and I loved it. He's a guy. We go back to keep saying he's a guy who could be number one in the right situation. Like if he just got put in the spot to actually do it, he could be number one.
I think, in fear of being overly specific or singular, it feels like there's a world in which as TNT champ he wrestles every week and he, does, because I think stylistically he may be the most versatile wrestler in the world, to be frank. I mean, he's a guy that can do. Look at what he can do in terms of the flashy stuff and how great of a pure wrestler he is. And then look at his performance against Cody in the bullshit, street fight setting. Like, there's nothing he can't do inside those ropes, man. He's a special, special wrestler. So
if he's wrestling Darby at Revolution like we all assume, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah, and it'll be a interesting one in terms of result. Yeah. Folks, get yourself some popcorn. We're entering the top 25. How fitting it is, Stu, that right in the middle of this process is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, brother. He ain't one side or the other. He's right there in the center. He was left off of 4 ballots. He appeared 50th once. He appeared 5th another time. Shout out to my boy Steven Jensen, because that was definitely his ballot. I don't even need to check it to know. I love you, my friend. I'm glad you're grinning about the code, man. He had one of the most interesting years in wrestling history for a range of reasons. Interesting is my polite phrasing as of this particular moment. There were times where I would have described it other ways. He's had wild swings in perception just in that year. But I think we can all agree, and this has been a consistent thing with Cody, when it matters most, he very seldom lets you down inside the ring, right? And, I actually think this is fair, personally. What about you?
I had him at 25. That's 3 times now.
Man, you got some power around here.
In ring, I don't think he's near. Well, that's probably not true. He actually is still pretty divisive in ring, I guess. But I think he's very good in ring professional wrestler. I still genuinely like Cody. He just needs to figure out what he's doing. For me, some people claim he knows what he's doing, so I could be wrong. But
yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I think it's definitely an act that, as much as it frustrates me at times, it's very much tolerable based on the fact that I'm trusting that when it matters most, he's going to give me a match worth watching.
Right.
I think it's adorable that people do the thing where they pretend he's an and then the bell rang guy. It's like,
yeah, that's not true.
That phrase was born in a time where Cody would have been the best worker in the territory, bro. Like, do not fool yourself. That's crazy talk.
I hope he shows out in the Rumble on Saturday.
No comment. 24, the man that just last night Cody shared a classic with, a fascinating classic, but a classic nonetheless. Sammy Guevara. I'm not going to ask you to do the entrance thing. He's missing from 7 ballots, which feels like a personal shot. His Instagram. He came in at 50th once. His highest was just 10th. I kind of thought someone would have gone wildly high on Sammy.
Yeah, I could have seen that too.
But he did have that weird little stretch there post MJF match where it felt like he vanished for a couple months. It was really odd, right? Came back with the TNT title run, which I think for all of the frustrations, I think he was damn good when it, inside the ropes. So Sammy at 24, I actually think is a little low, but ultimately pretty fair. What do you think?
He's very good. I had him at 24. I'm not kidding. I did.
Good Lord. Okay. I think I had him like 15 to 20 range. I thought we had a very good year in ring. But I know he's very divisive. Even within our program, the Late Night Grin, he's pretty divisive, right? You get what you get. I suppose. Speaking of divisive, at 23 is Adam Cole, baby, one of my favorite wrestlers. He was missing from 9 ballots. I did not do that. I promise I did not do that.
He had to be in somebody's top 10, right?
See, this is what fascinates me about this process, okay? 9 people had him not in the top 50. But in terms of those that had him in the 50, his lowest was 36th.
Wow, okay.
It's wild to me. 2 folks had him at 7th. That was his highest. I think Adam Cole in ring, genuinely, all bits aside, had a nice start to his AEW run without anything crazy. That's a fair take. I think this is actually I think it's maybe a touch higher than I'd go. Like I think Sammy should be higher than him. I think it's probably in the right range. What do you think?
I had Cole at 17.
Bootlicker.
Jungle Boy match was tremendous.
That's fair.
The Full Gear match was great. I think he's delivered pretty much every time.
Right.
He's good. I know he's not for everyone, that's fine, but I think he's good.
That's fair. Okay, and I'm not going to get into Adam Cole too much more this evening because we've lost 25 patrons after last night's show.
Joe's issue is that Adam Cole used to DM him scoops and he doesn't anymore.
See, what's bad about that is that isn't a reference to something, but people will think.
I know they're going to think it's a reference to something.
That's terrible. Now someone's going to DM me. Wait, who did Adam Cole DM? And I'm going to have to clear the. 22, Serena Deeb. Lock in for this one, brother. We're in for a ride. Not on 5 ballots.
Somebody had her 1, didn't they?
Came in at 48th as her lowest actual, slot on the ballot she was on. Highest. 2nd once. 3rd twice.
Wow, okay.
3 top 3 ballots. I think that is and I don't think this is wrong, in fairness. I think Serena is a case of a lot of us rate how good we believe she is, in addition to how good her match caliber. Because she had some good matches, but she also missed time. But we all know how great she is in the ring, so it's fair. I ain't even mad at it. She's a great pro wrestler. You've been known to be a great big fucking hater in terms of Serena Deeb, so your faults.
I had her at 19.
Yeah.
That feels about right to me.
She's damn good, isn't she?
Yeah.
There you go. Melissa said she had her at 3rd. Sheeta series, the Riho match. There was a match with Ty for the NWA title, I want to say. Tremendous run. Look at this. Look how aggressive this is from Demon Grin.
Yeah.
Just awful. Awful, spiteful behavior. We lost 45 patrons last night. And you're going to come in here and attack me. Got mouths to feed, folks. Bullshit. Okay. 21. The man that carried Adam Cole to the 3 1/4 star lights out match last night. Orange Cassidy.
3 1/4 seems high. I like that match. I'm just saying it seems high.
He's missing from 3 ballots. He came in at 40th on 1. He came in at 1st on another. He's not for everyone, is Orange Cassidy, but I'm a big fan. I think he's a great, great pro wrestler and a great character. I'd say this is fair. However, I think he could have a much better position if his feuds worked out slightly differently.
Right.
And that's out of his hands, but I think this is a fair range for him.
I had him at 11. Where are we at, 21?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Shoot. Can you start hosting this show, please? I'm not doing it again.
It's going to go very poorly.
We lost 65 patrons just last night, right?
Huh.
And I'm sitting here looking at a fact file that I've taken from a spreadsheet that hurt my damn eyes. I'm sitting there sweating bullets over highest seed and lowest seed. And I can't simply express an Adam Cole opinion without losing 85 patrons.
I mean, look, I don't agree with you about Adam Cole.
Right.
We've went round and round on this. But I really didn't see any reason that we should lose 112 patrons overnight. It wasn't that big of a deal. I would... let's move on.
Oh, you were going to go a certain direction there.
You know exactly where I was going to
Yeah,
go.
I do. Okay.
He is kind of bland. I mean, let's be honest.
Who?
Roderick Strong.
What the fuck? What is this? What is this?
Man.
I haven't said his name. Have I said his name? There's no reason for anyone else to say his name.
I had to, that was in honor of Oracle. There's got to be a shoot on every show now. I'm not going to do the hand motion.
He wouldn't be honored by that. He'd be very mad about that.
No, yeah, but he'd respect it.
Did you see his reply to me tonight, by the way?
Yes.
And this is a shoot. He's like, every week I watch Dynamite with my family on Thursday evening. Like, they had a blast with that match. Just loved it. And I tweeted, like, this is incredible that I got mad about this match. That is just, like, objectively fine. And Oracle replies, it sucked.
Yeah. When you sent me that message that said that you liked the match, I legitimately laughed out loud. Like, uproariously.
Incredible overreaction on my part. It was like, it wasn't great or anything, but it was just so fine.
Yeah, it was fine. The end was kind of dumb, but it was fine.
Yeah. Okay, can you now take back the part you said about Roderick Strong, please?
I don't remember what I said about Roderick Strong.
You said
which is fitting, I think.
You were spiteful again. Saying that, do we gain patrons if you bury Rod Strong?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Until he gets to AEW, obviously, and then our audience will like him.
Right. He's a Bengals fan, though, so I need to stop.
How much did that pop you? That was like a real...
Yes, that was incredible. Joe was so happy when he sent me that.
Shoots victory lapping about the Bengals, and I go, you know, 2 of the greatest wrestlers ever are Bengals supporters. And Shoots like, wait, Moxley and who? And I say, the Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Roddy Strong. And that's factual. It's factual, man.
It is.
You get what you get, right? Let me tweet out we're in the top 20. Our viewership just went down dramatically because I was talking about Rod Strong.
Yeah, we went from 145 viewers to 65.
And we lost more patrons, just got an email.
Yeah. 127.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. Okay, we should probably get on with the list. Okay, 20th.
Oh, man.
What? Oh, no. What now?
No.
Brian Pillman. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's fine.
In
the 20th spot, Cash Wheeler, only 2 ballots left him off. As far as the ballots he was on, his lowest slot was 42nd. His highest was 9th. Listen, man. Dax Hall, what now?
I just realized how far apart I have Dax and Cash on my ballot. It's hilarious.
Well, you're not going to be alone. I'll just wait for the results here, brother. Look, I think we all get the deal. I think Cash is happy with the situation. We all understand how great that Dax is, but Cash is a great pro wrestler. He takes them incredible bumps. Like, it's mean how often we single out Dax because he's damn good, right?
Yeah.
20 is probably fair, right?
I had him lower than that, but I feel kind of bad about it now. So let's move on.
Oh, you feel bad about that?
Yeah. I had him at 27.
Yeah. Well, there you go. 19th, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She was unranked twice. She came in at 48th as her lowest slot, and her highest was 3rd. Had a few top 10 nods. Obviously, in ring, the standout is the Thunder Rosa match. We talked about the Chris match earlier. I know there was a lot of conversation about her efforts as champ, but as we've said many times, Britt is just too central to that product to fall much further than this, right? Like, it is what it is. Like, I think there's probably an argument she probably should be lower than the bit we've listed, but
yeah,
I get it. What do you think?
I had her at 26. I think it's a little mid. I even feel like 26 might be a little high, but then I also worry that we're being too harsh on her. So,
bootlicker. Okay. 18.
You better watch yourself, son. I almost couldn't get that out without laughing.
Son, that rules. Okay. 18. MJF was unranked twice. This isn't even the big one.
This isn't the big one? Oh my god. Was I drunk?
Unranked twice. You may be able to figure out who one of those was based on his reaction. He appeared 49th on one ballot and second on another. I think MJF is someone we all agree that, like, I think it's been proven now. Time he's underrated in ring.
Yeah.
He's damn good inside the ropes. Whether you believe he had enough opportunities to show that this year or last year, you could debate. But I think, the capabilities are certainly there. Do you think this is fair? 18 around? I mean, it's tough to ask you because you left him off the list completely, but
Yeah, it's probably fair.
this is peak MJF, right? Look, 6, 48, 8.
Yeah, I should have ranked MJF. I'm really worried now that this isn't my highest one that I forgot.
Yeah, Brian Danielson. 17, Penta, El Zero Miedo. Talk about guys I didn't realize were polarizing until I did this process. Oh my god, it was up and down, man.
Yeah.
He was missing from 4 ballots. He appeared at 45th on 1, and he was 5th 3 times.
Wow.
There was a range with Penta. It was crazy. I think he had a hell of a year. And here's one thing I will say: everyone knows I'm biased when it comes to King, but I stick by this. That little run that Penta and King had as like a weird makeshift team.
That was a fun team.
That was damn good. And I think because that kind of fell in the range just before they went back to the road, that's like kind of forgotten. I think he had a hell of a year. I know that he's kind of a meme because he doesn't take bumps.
That
I
makes
had
me
him
like
higher
him
than
more
this.
though. That just makes him a good worker.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I had him in the top 10. I had him pretty damn high. Where did you have him, Shoot?
I had him at 18.
Wow, you're pretty close on this, right?
Yeah, just wait till this embarrassing one we have coming. That I'm
It's not that crazy.
dreading right now.
Sure, it's fine. Okay, 16. Hikaru Shida, unranked on only 1 ballot, came in at 45th on 1, 3rd on another. Look, man, Shida's, we talk about like how fun she was to watch on the C shows as kind of the leading party there against local talent and young talent. She was a champ that we always wanted more for, but always made the most of those opportunities, right? A great pro wrestler. I think this is probably about right. I don't think that's a reflection of her necessarily, but you get what you get, I suppose,
Yeah, I had her at 16. She's tremendous.
I'm starting to wonder how the board of committee came up with these results, Shoot.
Me too. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah. Hope we don't lose another 175 patrons tonight. Okay. Well, anyway, look in the chat. Sheeta at 4, 24, 30. Look, Sheeta's one that I think we all agree on how good she is. It's a matter of where you were on the matches she got to have. Does that make sense? Like, hopefully, when she comes back, they finish off maybe the Serena thing with one last match. That feels like it makes sense, right? And then her as TBS champ would be interesting down the line, wouldn't it?
Yeah, she'd be very good at that. Yeah, I had her at 16. She was also my highest ranked woman, which I'm disappointed by. That I didn't feel I could rank a woman higher than 16th. I like that's something AEW still needs to fix.
Speaking of such, in at 15 we have the highest rated women's wrestler, and I think it is important. Actually, this is actually a worth conversation to have because I think there's a way to come at this that's really dismissive, and I think it's worth noting that stuff like this and Fleet Files really made me appreciate how much more difficult it is for the women because their inconsistency in terms of like TV opportunities.
Right.
It's on and off. Like when I did Fleet Files, man, it was really hard for any of the women to get like consistent best match points because they're not on enough. Thunder Rosa isn't at 15. She's the highest women's wrestler here. She was on every ballot.
Wow.
Lowest
Good.
to 42nd, highest to 3rd. Listen, if you watch our show, Thunder Rosa is. I think she's like a, top 3 pick in women's wrestling if you're doing a big board. She's hugely marketable. incredibly charismatic, and she has really cool in-ring style. I hope that next year there's some women that wrestle on TV more consistently, so we can push them up
Yeah.
higher. That's just me personally, but
She's
she's
the
a great
next
person.
AEW Women's Champion. I think we all feel pretty confident about that, right?
Yep. And I think there's a world in which she's almost helped by, Jade's role as TBS champ. She could almost be a workhorse world champ. I
Right.
don't see,
Yeah.
I talked about this before about I don't see why she can't do open challenges as the world champ. I
Yeah.
think you can do that stuff, And I get it rankings, but it would rule.
This was my one issue with the ballot that I think people didn't factor in. That Britain Thunder Rosa match wasn't sanctioned by AEW, so it shouldn't have counted towards your ballots. Please follow the rules. It's not an AEW match, not sanctioned. That's not relevant.
So are you saying that if something happened in a lights out match, someone appeared or arrived, would that not count?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. 14. My fellow Brit, Pac, missing from just one ballot. Came in at 41st twice, came in at 5th 3 times. I think I had him just outside the top 10. He's obviously a unique one because of his schedule, right?
Yeah.
When he's there, I mean, he has nothing but great matches, so he probably belongs in the top 15. Fair to say?
I had him 21, and that feels too low in retrospect.
You don't like British people, though.
Fair.
I wonder why. Okay, 13. Another guy that made every ballot. Jungle Boy. His lowest was 44th. His highest was 5th. I believe I had him 10th around there. Love the man. I love him. There was a stretch there in the middle of the year where it felt like he was wrestling on the C shows every week and giving us main events. Just damn good. There's one that stands out in particular. It wasn't a great match or anything, but that you remember Daly's Place when they first filled it back up and he worked JD Drake and they were singing the song.
Oh, that
I
was
remember
awesome. Yeah.
I remember messaging you and being like, brother, this is going to be something special and this thing's out there. And
Yep.
I think, look, there are elements to his usage right now that I wish I could tweak. I don't need to beat up the dinosaur. He's conspicuous by his absence in the Fleet 50, but I'm really pumped to get eventually to full-time singles wrestler Jungle Boy because I think he's just come so far. But that was a great year for him, 2021, man. Hell of a wrestler, right?
I had him 6th.
Fair. I think it's fair.
I mean, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
The Omega match, I think, kind of got forgotten.
Agree.
Great match.
That was in that time's range too, though, right?
Yes.
I referenced earlier that
it was
waiting
right before
yeah. It was a Saturday Night Dynamite.
Yep.
In at 12, he is 8 slots above his partner. Dax Harwood, he was on every ballot. His lowest was 50th. His highest was 3rd. Honestly, one of my favorite wrestlers in the world to watch.
Yep.
An absolute just monster, a force of nature in terms of just fundamentals and good old-fashioned pro wrestling. He's great, right? I think there was a stretch there where we wanted them to be doing more. They closed out the year in style. Listen, man, FTR, it's a matter of how often they wrestle because if they get as many reps in as they can, they're going to end up high on these lists every year. So
yeah, he's incredible. I had him at 14.
There you go. Now, we're almost at the top 10, but we have a hilarious little narrative coming up here. This is not the one involving you, shoot.
Okay.
In at 11, one half of the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson, who was missing from 3 ballots, appeared at 40th on a ballot, and also had 2 votes for first place.
Wow. Okay.
Still only got to 11th, which should tell you just how much people have many different issues with the Young Bucks. I'll be honest, I thought this was a career year for that team, and from what I can gather, there's a whole range of takes on that, but I thought they were remarkable tag champs.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I think the division sorely misses them as a kind of centerpiece, to be frank. This feels low, shoot, I gotta say.
I had him at 7.
Okay.
He's very good. I had his partner a little bit higher.
Okay, folks.
I'm surprised that Matt above Nick. I'm with Hester on that. I'm surprised that some people had Matt above Nick because Nick had the Danielson match.
Oh, the first vote, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was confused and I thought I read the wrong name. Well, we'll get to that. But first, it's top 10 time. God, that rules.
Is this the part where you're gonna recap the entire first?
No, I'm not doing that again.
Okay.
That was
I'm
very
just gonna
exhausting.
tweet it out. So
yeah, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to let Maple wait. Like, I'm going
Right.
to tweet in like 2 days to be a piece of shit.
oh, that's fair. Watch the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch the product.
Yeah.
Okay, it's top 10 time. Here we go. In at 10, CM Punk. Missing from 2 ballots. Of the people that had him on their ballots, his lowest was 28th. He came in at the highest of 3rd. For me, this is just a case. I think I had him a little bit lower than 10th, but this is just a case of just got there a little late, and in ring there wasn't enough to make up the difference. He's wonderful. I love having him back. There you go. He's even last night. I think I said this to you. Like, there was a little gear he got into there at the end of that promo segment. I was just like, God, it's great to have him back in professional wrestling. One of the all-time great storytellers, and he's been wonderful so far. I think there's certain things I would change about like the usage, but his performance, I have literally no complaints. What about you?
Yep, I agree.
10th is where you had him, you said?
Yeah.
Fair. Looking at the chat, there you go. Andrews had him 3rd. There was the high man.
Where'd
15th,
you have him?
14th, 20th. I think I had him. Good brother. Good brother that has my list. Tell everyone where I had CM Punk because I don't know.
14th.
Thanks, pal. Okay. 9. Darby Allin. Missing from 3 ballots. Lowest of 41st. Highest of 4th 3 times. Obviously, the big thing for him was the TNT title run. I think we can all understand why he was left off ballots. I think we get that, right? And that's fine. He's a tremendous pro wrestler. I think his work qualified him for the top 10, right? Fair to say?
I had him at 8.
There you go. Time for number 8. Shoot.
Oh, God. All right.
Miro.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Was left off 2 ballots.
Yeah, I forgot to vote for Miro. That's bad. Oh, well.
Of the ballots he was on, it doesn't feel crazy, right? But he's at 8.
Yeah.
I had him a lot lower than this. I
probably wouldn't have had him this high. Yeah.
Yeah. Miro, of the ballots that had him, his lowest was 31st. His highest was 4th. He's the biggest benefactor, I think, of the whole process of just almost everyone other than the confirmed shoot agreeing that he rules. So he was... No, it also, I had to say that, but seriously.
Yeah.
He's a guy that, like, he's here at 8, and if you look at his individual results, they don't seem that impressive, but because everyone had him relatively higher, he didn't have the crazy drop-offs. You see what I'm saying? Like, some of these dudes had, they got haters. Miro, everyone knows he rules, other than you.
I wouldn't have had him in the top 10, but I definitely should have had him ranked. He probably would have been in like the 18 to 20 range, something like that.
I had him at 21.
Yeah.
I thought Miro's real money was the promos this year.
Exactly.
Last year. Which is, and this is important to know, actually. Like, I think you and I, that actually matters more to us in a lot of ways.
It does, yeah.
But that's not what this particular thing is, right? It's important to say that. Okay. Number 7. Wild Thing. The blue-eyed battler, as Jim Ross loves calling him every time he appears on television. John Moxley, only 1 ballot left him off. Of the ballots he appeared on, 38th was his lowest. He was 2nd twice. I'll be honest, and does not fun for me to say it. I think this is a little high for his year. Me personally, I think it was, and that's whatever, right? That doesn't matter. But he's awesome. God, I love him.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
He wasn't before he came to AEW. I didn't dislike him or anything, but he wasn't like one of my he's like top tier for me now.
Yeah. He's absolutely spectacular. Incredibly unique, right? Captivating every turn, incredibly charismatic. I had him at 12.
I had him at 13.
There you go. And I think that's just, there was circumstance and opportunity. There's a whole range of things. But he's wonderful. So, there you go. In at 6, we got him. What is he here? My God, he was 11 slots above his brother, Ray Phoenix. He was on every ballot. His lowest spot was 46th. His highest was 3rd twice. I think it was nice to see Phoenix getting a nod here because, there was a stretch early in the year where he felt like the most dynamic guy on the whole show, right? Yeah. And they were making a point of spotlighting him every turn. He had a main event match with Archer that was they went 20 minutes and you left it kind of thinking, wow, is he the best wrestler in the world? It was nuts, right? I think he owns this spot. I don't know if I had him. I didn't really have him around this range because I had him at 7. There you go.
7.
He belongs, man. He had a hell of a year.
I had him at 5.
There you go. Joey says, look, I don't know if he was your 1. He can't have been your 1, Joey. Unless I fucked up the recording of the statistics. He may have been. Okay, he may have been someone's number 1. He's a great wrestler. He belongs there. He had a great year. Hope he's back soon and that he's feeling well. Okay. Top 5 time. I'm not going to do the countdown. I'm going to just tweet the link. Shoot your thoughts on the process so far while I tweet.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
I think it's popped me huge how many of the rankings have been the exact same as my ballot.
Yeah.
The Miro thing was not as bad as I would. You had me very worried that it was going to be very, very embarrassing. Even though Miro definitely should have been ranked, to be clear. That was a mistake on my part.
Right.
I actually think I may have intentionally not ranked MJF because he didn't wrestle enough, which feels wrong now. But I think I actually that was the decision.
Yeah, that's fair.
At the time. Miro was just an accident.
It's weird. He's a top 10 guy, but I agree. But he doesn't feel like a crazy omission. But it clearly is, right? Feels like we're on our own on this one. Anyway.
I mean, he should have been ranked. I would have, I regret not having him in my ballot, but I wasn't devastated like I was worried I was going to be.
There were guys that came in lower than him that would have been more shocking if he'd left them off, to me personally. And I know you're a fan, so that isn't necessarily a thing about you. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. Okay, top 5 time, folks. Here we go. 6 positions above his brother, we have Nick Jackson. He was on every ballot. His brother was not.
Yeah.
His lowest position was 36th. His highest was 1st. He shared a top spot with Matt. So one of Matt's was shared. One of them was his own. One was shared. Look, I think, I told everyone when they'd asked me about tag teams, do I put them together? And I said, I kind of hinted at the idea that in most cases, the way AEW books gives you enough room to see who should probably get the slight nod. I think Nick's singles match was, the Bryan match was enough to just put him a touch above. I had him at 2.
Wow.
And I had Matt at 3. So I've all, the Bucks were spectacular and he belongs here this high. I actually have no problem whatsoever with anyone that had the thing about them sharing the top spot. I actually think is kind of fine. I respect it, honestly. I mean, I had him close to that. So there you go.
So he was 5, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we know who the top 4 is. It's just a matter of what the order is.
Factual. But it's some controversy.
Yeah.
In at 4, the current AEW champ, Hangman Adam Page. He was left off a ballot.
Wow.
The highest ranked wrestler to be left off a ballot. His lowest position, however, on the ballots he appeared on was 18th.
Someone probably forgot him, honestly.
Incredible. He has no votes for number 1. He has no votes for number 2. He has 9 votes for number 3, which I thought was kind of fascinating here at the 4 spot. He had an interesting year, right? Because, You know, he does the Matt Hardy program. He does the Brian Cage program, which I think we agree the Brian Cage program was good for the in-ring, but it wasn't stuff that you immediately, your mind goes to.
Yeah,
He has
that was better than people.
absolutely, a lot of Cage stuff was. 10-man tag was great, and then he goes away. I think the big factor for Hangman, I had him a little bit lower than this, but I had him at 8, so there you go.
I had him at 9, which I actually feel kind of low now, but
the big factor was that Winter is Coming match, which was a magical pro wrestling match. I think on that alone, it's hard to get mad about his position here, right?
Yeah. And yeah, he's the best babyface in wrestling right now. That's factual.
Looking at the chat here, 7, 10, 7, 7
I don't feel
again.
as bad about having him 9 as I see what everyone else had him.
Here's what's fascinating, though. If you look at the chat, do you see how many are in the 5 to 10 range rather than above that? Again, I think it's a case of everyone loves Hangman, so he doesn't have the he doesn't have the fall off, right? Like if you're in that, 5 to 15 on everyone's ballot, you're gonna end up okay, and that's the case for him. He's at 4. Okay, here we go. Top 3.
So the top 3 is exactly what I expected it to be. It's just a matter of what this order is going to be.
In at 3, the Mad King, Eddie Kingston. Lowest position of 24th, highest of 1st twice. Not me.
Yeah.
Not me. King had a great year. A great year. I think it's easy to forget like those fun TV matches with Archer and Pac at the start of the year, way back when, like January time. I think we've all loved Tom Mox. I think he'd have no shame in me saying this. He was incredible in that team. He was, really was central in those matches. The Penta stuff I referenced, a little kind of, appeared to the backdrop for a second there in the summer. Came out of it with a Miro match and didn't look bad. His fall was incredible. The best run of his whole career.
Yep.
A great year for Eddie Kingston. Shoot, where'd you have him?
I had him at 3.
There you go. I'm looking at the chat. This is not true. 21, 4. Yeah, I had him at 4. So I had him at 4, the Bucks at 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everyone.
Wow. Okay, so you didn't. All right. So one of these two in the top.
You didn't have him. That. We did when we did the all elite teams. I kind of.
Yeah.
I took a certain approach to it. That's all.
Yeah.
Number 2.
This is very fascinating. Which one is which?
This is incredible, man. Just 2 points shy of number 1.
Wow. Okay.
With a lowest rank of 35th.
Wow. Okay.
But with 24 votes for number 1, the best bout machine, Kenny Omega.
Wow. Okay.
I'll do number 1, and then we can talk about it because it seems.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows who number 1 is now, but yeah.
And at number 1, with 6 less votes for the top spot, is Bryan Danielson because his lowest vote was 13th, and that was his only one outside the top 10.
Wow. Okay.
Kenny missed out by 2 points, and the biggest factor there clearly was there was just people that were lower on him, and they don't exist for Bryan. Everyone agrees Bryan's minimum top 15, right? So, look, I think I had Bryan at 5, and my mindset on that was it was the last 3 months. And as great as it was, that was how I approached it, I think if you're doing wrestler of the year, his WWE stuff makes him the wrestler of the year because you can combine it. Most had him in the top 2. I ain't getting mad at Bryan Danielson as the winner. I had Kenny at 1, but, it is what it is. What about you, Shoot? What do you think?
I had Bryan at 1 and Kenny at 2.
Yep.
You easily could. If you argued with me on that, I wouldn't even argue back because I wouldn't say you're wrong. Yep. I just, like, the stuff that Danielson did in those 3 months is, like, unfathomable to me.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Two matches I'll never forget in my life. Obviously, Kenny was in one of those. Plus, just, Look, this is incredible.
Remember the Suzuki match?
Yeah. There's just, it's insane. He basically had a full year in 3 months.
Yeah, no, I honestly have no problem with it. I think he's probably the greatest wrestler to ever live.
Yeah.
And I can't dispute it. I will say it feels like poor Kenneth has come up really unfortunate here with 24 first vote. I mean, that's That's tough, right? But you get what you get, I suppose. It's fine.
I was really interested to see. I knew it was going to be one of the two.
Yep.
King at 3 didn't surprise me at all either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that because that really is. It's not like, I mean, Kenny had an incredible year.
Yeah.
But God, every match Danielson had, literally every match, good match with Aaron Solo at Universal. Like,
Yeah. No, I agree.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he's special, and it's going to be like fascinating to see his year because this is his first year of a complete open world, right? Like he can do what he wants, so it'll be something. There was a final stat here.
Where was Luchasaurus?
I'll find that. Only 8 wrestlers made every ballot. That is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's find Luchasaurus. Fill some dead air for me, shoot, while I look at this spreadsheet.
I could do the Sammy Guevara theme again, but then my power would go out.
Yeah,
let me look at. So, from what I can tell, my highest ranked wrestler that didn't make the top 50 was Alan Angels, who I had at 37.
Okay, I'll do that in a second. That's good. Good idea.
I had Penelope Ford at 38, which seems a little high now, but I definitely did this not long after their tag match. I had the chairman Sean Spears at 42 because, of course, I did. I had Matt Hardy at 43 because I'm incredible. The Bunny at 44. Ryu Mizunami at 46. And I had Joey Janela at 47 because I really think he had a very underrated year.
Yeah, I agree.
Tope Suicida wants me to read my top 10, so I'll do that real quick.
Go ahead.
I had Punk at 10, Hangman at 9, Darby at 8, Matt Jackson 7, Jungle Boy 6, Phoenix 5, Nick Jackson 4, Kingston 3, Kenny 2, and Bryan Danielson 1.
On the money, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
There you go. Luchasaurus was 56th, one spot outside of our honorable mentions. So
wow,
that's not bad, right?
It would be incredible if he'd made the list. And yes, I watch Dark every week.
Luchasaurus, there was a lot of ballots he did not appear on, but he got a couple 20-pointers, which popped me. Okay, I'll do what you just did there. My highest ranked wrestler that did not make the ballot was Evil Uno, who was 39th for me and ended up 63rd.
Okay.
Bob Fish was 41st for me. He came in at 69. Nice. And Alex Reynolds 71. There's a few here. My God, Bunny and Penelope made mine too. They're in the 70s, man.
48. I had Anna at 48. I forgot to mention.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there you go, folks. The first and not the last. I thought this was fun. This is good content.
This is actually much better in this format than just like tweeting out the results. This made it much more fun.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat got to share how they voted.
Right.
Next year we'll have Bud Matt at number 1, which will be awesome. Based on the one match he'll work on Dark in August, where he'll lose in 4 minutes.
You just had to do that, huh? You had to just.
Somebody brought it up in the chat, so.
You had to put the boots to me one last time. I've had enough, man.
Come on. We're on the same team on that one.
Okay. Yeah, fair. All right, well, anyway, that was the first Fleet 50. We're going to do this every year for another year. and then we'll discuss if we're going to do it every year again for another year. It was tremendous fun. I enjoyed seeing, I see the names in the chat, but it was really fun to see if it was individual opinions.
Yeah.
Because, that's where your true gut feeling comes out, right? When you sit down and do those ballots. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm judged any of you, but I do think less of multiple people in the chat right now. I think more of a couple, but not many. But that's to be expected, right? I think everyone knew that when they sent in what they were getting themselves into. I will never reveal the name that screwed Kenneth Omega. Feels like it should just be. Don't.
It was Bob O'Neill.
It was.
Where was Billy Gunn? Did Billy Gunn get a vote?
Oh God, hang on a second. There's so many names on this thing, man.
Yeah.
120 names. There's no need for such a thing. All right, here we go. Big Bill Gunn. He came in at. Oh my God, he did not get many points, I can tell you.
Well, at least somebody voted for him.
Holy shit. Bill Gunn got one. No, he got 13 points. He came in at 101. Fair.
Okay, that's fair.
That's about on track. That's about, on brand for him. Joe, what percentage of Grim regulars did you lose respect for based on their ballot? Probably 85%. No, I'm just, man. It's fine. I had Danielson at 5, guys. I probably had the worst ballot of everyone. My focus was on not fucking up the process.
That's a great question. Who was last? Who was dead last?
I mean,
I'm sure it's multiple people that tied that got 150 vote.
Yeah, I'll try and read the funniest one. Like RSP, for example, popped me tremendously with 1 point.
Is there anyone you said? Didn't you say somebody got votes that shouldn't even have been eligible?
Oh, multiple people. Bob O'Neill got a vote.
Well, yeah, well that doesn't count. But
Kayla Rossi got a vote. You know who you are in the chat. She did not wrestle.
Yeah.
This is a good. Okay, we'll close on this. God bless Meech, a great member of the chat. And in all seriousness, love to all of you that are in here. This is a lot of fun. But Meech was preparing a PowerPoint, right? And someone asked while I was on the air, Joe, do you want a PowerPoint? And I responded, fuck no. And poor Meech was left like, what do I do now? Do I just pretend this was never going to be a thing? He messaged me about it. I said, I'll accept the PowerPoint. It was very well done. I appreciate it. The visuals were useful. A couple people didn't know who they were, so I had to, really sit down and think about it. But, oh no. No, we're not doing this again.
And it's factually correct, though, right?
Yes, it's factually correct, folks. Yes.
So objectively, that's true.
Don't do that. Don't do objectively on me, right? Don't do that. No need for that. Okay.
That's a nod to our patrons that will get that joke.
Do we have any patrons left?
That's fair.
We lost 225 patrons last night.
The website's actually gone. If you go to latenightgrin.com, it just redirects to a porn site, which isn't that surprising. That was the best thing. That was the best day. Is like, I came up with that name, and we used it for a while, and then one day it dawned on me, and I was like, Joe, this kind of sounds like a porn site.
So there's actually a channel on YouTube called This Popped Me Tremendously. Because this sounds even more pornographic.
Isn't there one called Late Night Grind?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, let me read. It's like an investment channel.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that coming.
And I just appreciate them existing because it makes ours feel more wholesome just by comparison. So, shout love to them. Subscribe.
It's fucking rules.
You know what would be brutal?
Legacy right there. I'm happy with that.
It would be brutal if that was our brand and I just fucking threw everything away to commit to that brand, right? Like one that will always be considered to be some sort of filth pornographic program.
Yeah.
And I just tied my name to it solely, had nothing else to fall back. That'd be bad. You get what you get, I suppose. Shoot, any final comments on the Fleet 50, the inaugural Fleet 50?
I thought it was fun. Mm-hmm. Next year, I'll probably vote for Miro. Although he hasn't had a match yet, so maybe not.
Yeah, fair.
He's going to Matrix premieres and things of that nature at this point. Maybe CJ Lana Perry will show up this year.
Do we hope so? I don't know.
I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, folks. God, that one rules. Congratulations to the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. He won the Golden Grinny for Wrestler of the Year. He won the Fleet 50. Kenny Omega fans, do not be mad at me. I had him at 1. Eddie Kingston was in it. Eddie Kingston was definitely not my number one. I have proof. I'm in the clear here. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow night behind the paywall, latenightgrin.com, for the world famous Late Night Grin, I believe episode 24, right? Someone on Discord had a great topic that I'm going to bring up tomorrow. I'll give you guys a little teaser. It was, I've not got the name, I'm sorry, but it was a pal on Discord. They said, who are the four most important wrestlers of the last decade? Where if you took them out, changes the most. And I think we should kick that around some because I don't think we're doing the roster breakdown anymore because Oracle tried to fight me last week. So that'll be tomorrow night immediately after Rampage. I may go live in the afternoon for a solo where I just talk to the chat some because I'm trying to rebuild the relationship between myself and you all because, of course, last night things got rather heated.
Yeah, it's not strong right now.
I have tried to wrap this thing up for the last 10 minutes, and you put the boots to Roddy every time, man.
We need to, it's not strong. We need to make it cool.
No,
that's a great way to end the show. Just fucking awful. That just is a gift to everyone who's stuck with this. Just like the worst possible ending ever.
Go to Wrestling with. Is that my site? Wrestling with Takes.
I don't know. You have a website?
Yes. Well, go to wrestlingwithtakes.com and you may be able to find my website where I did an article about Roderick Strong. I had to go back to writing to get my true opinions on Roddy out because everyone bullies me on the air. So go do that.
Oh, okay.
What now?
He's coming at both of us now, Demon Grin. I respect it.
He's spiteful, man.
Yeah.
And he does the thing where he pretends he's not. He puts Grin in his name to kind of butter us up and get us rid. It's not good, man. It's still, you kind of feel safe. You go, oh, what did Demon Grin say? And he just kicks the shit out of you. It's bad. Yeah. And he cost us 315 patrons last night.
It's a sad day, man.
It is. R.I.P. to the Late Night Grin, but long live the Fleet 50.
Subscribe, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Subscribe.
Buy our merch at latenightgrinshop.com. Booming business.
Okay, shoot. Any final comments now?
No.
Bye, everyone. Wave shit. That's not a wave. That's a thumbs up.
Yeah. I could turn it that way.
Okay, good. Bye.